evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Kern County Planning Commission meeting. It's August 11, 2016. We have a quorum. I'll call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, will you please call roll?
Mr. Louie?
Here.
Mr. Babcock? Ms. Garcia? Ms. Poole?
Here.
Mr. Sprague?
Here.
Mr. Hall?
Here.
Ms. Ovia? Mr. Denny?
Here.
Mr. Murphy?
Here. Thank you. Commission member announcements or reports. Are there any? Does staff have any announcements or reports? No. Let's move on to approval of the minutes for July 28, 2016. We've previously been provided the minutes in our packet. Are there any corrections?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sprague, second by Commissioner Poole. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Our minutes are approved. It looks like there are no cases to be withdrawn or requests for continuances on the agenda, but Mr. Murphy, can you clarify why on the consent agenda, number 1 says continued cases? Just for clarification.
Sure, Mr. Chairman, that is, because that item was continued from a previous case from your commission to tonight's hearing, so it was identified as a continued case.
So that identifies it as a case that had been once noticed and calendared before and is not the first time on our agenda now.
Correct. And in the other 5 cases, this is the first time they have come before your commission.
Thank you. Any questions from the commissioners on that? All right, let's move on to the consent agenda.
All right, Mr. Chairman, we have 6 items that are on consent tonight. These are items that are scheduled before your commission, which are being recommended for approval by staff, and the applicant has been informed of any special condition and has no objection. The hearing on these items may be expedited if no member of the commission or the audience wishes to comment or ask any questions. The first item on consent, case number 1, is conditional use permit 7, map 133. The applicant is Yes California. The project is located at 29309 Peterson Road, southeast corner of Highway 43 and Peterson Road in the Wasco area. The request would allow a green waste collection and recovery facility in an A FPS district. The staff recommendation is to approve in accordance with the recommended conditions and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the draft resolution. Item number 2 is conditional use permit number 7, map number 75. The applicant is Palmetto Engineering and Land Surveying, Inc. This project is located at 18721 Highway 33 in McKittrick. The request is to allow an 80-foot tall wireless communication facility in an A district. The staff recommendation is to approve in accordance with the recommended conditions and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the draft resolution. Case number 3 is agricultural preserve number 7, inclusion, map number 31. The applicant is Merdad Manicherry Naini. The project is located 1 mile south of Shearwood Avenue, approximately 1.5 miles west of Wildwood Road in the Wasco area. The request is an exclusion of approximately 160 acres within the boundaries of an ag preserve. I would note that your commission did receive an addendum on the staff report tonight. That was to correct the typographical error. The staff report originally given to you said 60 acres. Again, the request is an inclusion of 160 acres. Therefore, there is a revised recommendation, which is staff recommendation is to advise the Planning Commission to recommend to the Board of Supervisors to approve ag inclusion of 160 acres into boundaries of the agricultural preserve number 7 as requested and adopt the suggested revised findings as set forth in the draft resolution. Case number 4 is conditional use permit number 21, map 143. The applicant is Lamb Chops Inc. by Barry and Associates. This project is located at 12336 South Union Avenue in Bakersfield. The request is a modification of conditional use permit number 21, map 143, to allow for the expansion of an existing contract harvesting business in an A district. The staff recommendation is to approve the modification of conditional use permit number 21, map 143, subject to the original conditions of appeal with deletion of conditions 12 and 13, revisions to conditions 4, 5A, 11, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 21, and the addition of conditions 6C and 6D, 23 and 24, and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the draft resolution. Case number 5 is legal nonconforming use number 2, map 103-21. The applicant is Alfonso Mendez Banyales. The project is located at 925 Bernard Street in Bakersfield. The request is to allow the expansion of a legal nonconforming auto service shop to include a tire shop in an R2 district. The staff recommendation is to approve in accordance with the recommended conditions and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the draft resolution. And finally, case number 6 is specific plan amendment number 85, map 101, ag preserve number 9 and number 11 inclusion. The project applicant is B&H Willow Creek Ranch, LLC, and Wildwood Farms, LLC. The project is located, there are 2 sites. Site A is located at the southeast corner of Rayner Road and Nord Avenue, and Site B is located at the northwest corner of intersection of Nord Avenue and Meacham Road in the Bakersfield area. The request is A, to amend the land use element of the Western Rosedale specific plan from map code LMR to map code RIA, or a more restrictive map code designation, on approximately 215 acres, and B, the inclusion of approximately 157 acres within the boundaries of Ag Preserve number 9, and the inclusion of approximately 58 acres within the boundaries of Ag Preserve number 11. The staff recommendation is to advise your commission to recommend the Board of Supervisors to approve the general plan amendment as requested, approve the inclusion as requested, and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the draft resolution. That concludes the reading of the consent calendar tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Is there anyone here tonight in the audience that would like to have an item on the consent agenda removed from the consent agenda and heard at a full public hearing during its normal course in its regular order? Would anyone like to do that? Seeing none, would any commissioner like to have an item removed?
I have a question of staff, if we could, before we
Sure.
consider this.
Sure, Commissioner Sprague.
Mr. Murphy or Mr. Denny, on item number 5, it's in a residential area, and I see no letters in here objecting to this application. Have you received any phone calls or letters from area residences around this tire shop? I mean, it's been there for a long, long time, I know that. But my concern would be on a noise, dust issue situation, so I was wondering if you'd gotten any comments from anybody.
Commissioner Sprague, through the chair, I'm not aware of any comments received. If so, they would have been included in the staff report.
Oh, well, I knew that too, but I thought I'd just ask because sometimes they come in late.
I understand, and if we had received something, we would have made an addendum. I was in the office until 5 o'clock tonight, and we did not receive anything up until that time.
I don't doubt that. I know you're a workhorse. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for that.
Thank you, Commissioner Sprague. Is there any action on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Poole, second by Commissioner Sprague. Please cast your votes.
All ayes.
Mr. Murphy, can you please identify which of the consent agenda items have a right to appeal, and then make that notice, please?
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. Those items are items 1, 2, 4, and 5. For projects where the commission's action is final, actions are subject to appeal to the Board of Supervisors and any interested person, and no development proposed by any application may be authorized until after the final date of appeal. An appeal may be filed with the Kern County Planning and Natural Resources Department, located at 2700 M Street, Suite 100 in Bakersfield, with a filing fee of $540 on forms available at the Planning and Natural Resources Department. The filing must be made within 14 days of and including tonight's hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons desiring to address the commission on any matter not on this agenda and over which the commission has jurisdiction. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make a public presentation? Sure. Can you please come forward to the microphone and state your name for the record?
Not complaining, but, do you have a master plan for the whole area out there where schools are going to go, something like that?
What area would that be?
Up Nord Avenue, Hageman Road, 7 Standard Road, or not 7 Standard, Katzmeyer, in that general area?
Out in the northwest area?
Right.
I believe staff might be able to answer that question.
I believe the school districts have that information, but let me check with Mr. Murphy as well as whether or not our general and specific plans for that area reflect any, I believe, PS map code designations for schools.
Mr. Chairman, to help answer that question, at times they do, but not necessarily. A lot of times, depending on when residential is built, is when formal identification of schools and the location is identified. In some of our specific plans where we have a little bit more detail, we have identified where potential school facilities could be located, but no, I do not have a specific document that I could point that says this is a location where all the potential schools could be in that particular area.
Does that help answer your question, sir?
Yeah, I did right. Well, you don't have, I'm not complaining, like
Okay.
I said. I'm not complaining, just curious how you have a master plan for all the area. I won't be around, I'm 75, so in 20 years I'll be dead, so you know what I mean, I could built it anyway, but just kind of curious how it's done.
Don't feel bad, I'm 76.
76, yeah. Well, you know, we're on the downhill side of the downhill. Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your question. All right, is there anyone else who would like to make a public presentation? Looks like no one, so let's move on to adjournment. Our next Planning Commission meeting is scheduled for Thursday, August 25th, 2016, 7 p.m. in these board chambers. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned. Thank you.